Hey everybody, happy Sunday. So, just like all of you, I go around YouTube and I try to look up some new developing techniques. And I want to show you a little something that I learned from another YouTuber named Matt Shannon. Now, truth be told, okay, this is weird. He demonstrated two ways of doing this technique. One way was with Photoshop, and then his way is something I already do in Lightroom. But I'll be honest with you, I like his way better. So let me show you what I do in Lightroom, and then we'll take a look at it in Photoshop. So here we are in Lightroom, and I'm going to be adjusting the shadows and the highlights. Now when I do this, it's going to have an effect on the entire screen, but at least I get to choose the color of the shadows and the colors of the highlights and their intensity. So let's play around just a little bit here. I'm going to take the shadows and I'm going to drag it over just a tad, and that's going to have a little bit of effect on the overall picture. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the highlights, but I'm going to do a yellow color. And again, we take a look back here at the entire image. So this is what it looks like now. And here's the image before. All right, let's zoom in here on our little buddy. And again, before and after. Just a little bit of change is all that we achieve there. And really, when you're doing your adjustments in Lightroom, you really need to do minimal adjustments. Remember, sometimes less is more. Now let's take a look at the difference in Matt's technique when it comes to Photoshop. So here in Photoshop, I am going to go down and I'm going to do a new adjustment layer. I'm going to choose solid color. And then I'm going to choose a dark blue and then click OK. Let's do a little darker. We'll do a dark blue right there. OK. And now I'm going to pay attention up here. So this is the masking layer. Now what that means is if it's white, that means it's going to be on top. You can see it. If it's black, you can't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control-I and change that to black to totally hide it. I'm also going to make some changes here. I'm going to change this to soft light. There we go. And then I'm going to switch over to my brush. And then I am going to go up here and notice I've got my opacity. I've set it down to 34. So it's not going to be a really intense coloring that's going to happen to the screen. Now, because I also changed this to soft light, only the darker parts, the shadows, are going to be affected. So let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and begin applying it. Let's make my application area a little bit larger. And what I'm going to do here is just in the shadows, you notice how the light areas are not being affected. There's a little shadow here. All right, I know we got some dark stuff down in this area, down in here. We'll cover this now. Notice this, it doesn't really matter if I'm hitting the dark area or the light areas, but I can see that this is pretty intense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo those, and then I'm going to turn down my opacity just a little bit more so I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. But for this one though, we're going to zoom in on this guy here. There we go. And now switching back over to my paintbrush, I am going to resize my brush a little bit smaller, and I'm going to focus on the darker areas of our little Godzilla here. And you can see that essentially what I'm doing is I am just increasing the darkness, making it a little bit more bluer on some of the darker areas of our little buddy. All right, I can see there's also some darkness here in the tail. All right. Now, let's just move over here just a little bit. There we go. Now we can see the entire lizard. Again, we'll call him Godzilla. Okay, so now we've got the dark parts done. Let's add in the highlights. So again, I'm going to do another layer. We're going to make this one a solid color. And this time though, I'm going to choose a dark yellow color. Go a little bit darker there. Okay. And now, same thing up here. I'm going to click on the masking layer, do Control-I to change it to black. And then I'm going to change this to a color dodge. and this is going to brighten things up. Now, just so you guys know, over here, you'll notice I've got white selected, because remember, white is what's going to allow it to be shown. Black would take it away. So going back over here, I'm now going to hit the areas that are a little bit brighter on our good buddy here. All right, and I'm going to do just another application here just to his face to try and brighten him up just a little bit. Okay, so now we have the colors, the contrast adjustments applied to our lizard, and we didn't touch the rest of the image. We only did it to the parts that we wanted to make those adjustments to. So let's take a look here. Here's the before and after. Once again, here's the before and after. So I like this way of having more control over the contrast areas. Now, Lightroom was doing really good for me. I've sold a lot of pictures using that method, but I think I'll be trying out this method a little bit more. Now, bonus content. There is a way to kind of automate this workflow just a little bit. Let's check it out. So I'm back to the original photograph. Now, I may be doing this technique to a lot of different photos, so I need a way to add in these adjustment layers quickly. Up here, I've got my actions. Now, in the actions, I've created something I call blue and gold layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new version of that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create New Action. I'm going to go ahead and call this B and G for blue and gold. That way I can delete this later on. And then I'm going to start recording my actions. Now, I'm not going to actually apply anything to the image. All I'm doing is I'm going to create each one of the adjustment layers, and I'm going to invert them, and then that's it. We're going to be ready to go. So take a look. To start things off, I'm going to click Record. And then I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. That's going to be a solid color. And then I'm going to choose a dark blue right down here, just as I did before. Click OK. And then I'm going to change this to soft light. Now, I'm not going to make any adjustments right now. I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to do a new adjustment layer, solid color. Once again, it's going to be that dark yellowish color. I'm going to click OK. Click on the masking layer, press Ctrl I, and then change this to a color dodge. And then I'm going to tell it to stop recording. And there you have your automation created. I'm going to undo both these layers. And now, whenever I need to have those layers added, I simply click on my B and G, hit play, and boom, there they are, ready to go. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all next time.